Hey guys, I'd like to welcome you to the Kortex Media Podcast, where we navigate the fast-paced world of automotive and more. I'm your host, Corson Schmidt. Here today, I have Ryan Crooks, a leader with 20 years in the used vehicle industry. Ryan has helped grow some of North America's top automotive brands. CarMax and DriveTime are some examples, and is now a key figure at Clutch, Canada's largest online used car retailer, with experience spanning both established companies and dynamic startups. He brings a practical, innovative perspective to automotive leadership. It's great to have you on, Ryan.
Great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Hey, no worries. So before we really dive into things, let's just start with your background. So you spent quite some time, 2 decades across CarMax and DriveTime, really building out your knowledge in the industry. But what first drew you to automotive, and how's your career evolved over the years?
Yeah, I think from early, even before those times, early on in life, I was an auto detailer. I just got into the nuances of perfection and looking, if I was going to drive something, I wanted to look good. Then kind of involved, from there of, how do you make a career of this, right? And CarMax was a great introduction to the automotive industry as a leader and a manager. They have very robust training processes and procedures, and it was really a great introduction to being a manager. And from there, just evolved from leading a small team to then soon leading a shift of employees, to then managing a facility, and then working with tech startups, both shift and now at Clutch, of learning and taking all those learnings that I've had and building and creating, and that's truly been a lot of fun and very fulfilling personally.
For sure, that's amazing. And you've worked with some big names as well, so that's obviously going to bring you a lot of knowledge, bouncing off a lot of people. For those who are new to Clutch or don't really know much about Clutch, do you mind kind of giving us a little overview of kind of what you guys do, what you guys offer?
Yeah, absolutely. So Clutch is Canada's largest online pre-owned retailer. Everything is done online. We have full digital suite, so end-to-end selling experience for our customers. So traditional dealership model is if you wanted to go buy a Civic, you go to the Toyota dealership and go there. Or, go to the Honda dealership for a Civic, and you would test drive the car and, pick the color, the features, and things that you want. At Clutch, you do it all digitally online, much like you would shopping at Amazon. So you would find the car, the features, and all of that. And then rather than a test drive, you get a 7-day, sorry, I'm going to back that up. So at Clutch, you get a 10-day return policy, 750,000 mile or kilometer warranty. So you can take it home, so it fits in the garage, car seats, wife, family, everybody likes it, then you can keep it. There really is a no questions asked return policy, which sounds too good to be true, but it is true, and we stand behind it.
That's amazing. How did some of those early experiences, what were some of those biggest experiences, biggest knowledge you learned working with the other two companies before coming to Clutch that you've really implemented, brought into Clutch to really get things rolling forward?
Yeah, absolutely. From an operations standpoint where I sit, everything is led by people and processes. So you have to have the right combination of those two things, making sure that you have great people, and they can be entry-level people. And when I'm looking for those people, it's attitude, performance, and attendance. Can you master those 3 things? If so, I can teach you the rest. Having great people with no processes or procedures, though, can, as you can imagine, be problematic. So then they also need to have a good training program, good processes. What does good look like every day? I firmly believe that everybody in life wants to do a good job, at work. Nobody shows up to do a bad job, and it's our job as employers to show them, our employees, what a good job looks like. And so everybody can leave at the end of the day feeling fulfilled, and the company set for success at the same time.
For sure. Lead by example, being at the top of the company, and then if you show how hard you work, your employees will follow your footsteps. Have you
absolutely
noticed it difficult to find those solid workers in a new, I guess I wouldn't say new, but as a kind of more of a tech startup, more of a newer company in the marketplace? is it tough to find some of those hardworking people, especially with the new generation as well?
Yes and no. I mean, a lot of it, I just finished building at a brand new reconditioning facility in Mississauga, and I employ here over 100 people. Every wide range of people, from entry-level auto detailers and shuttle drivers to licensed mechanics and everywhere in between. I say that I've been 100% close rate on bringing people on site to this new facility. It's very impressive. All indoors, climate controlled, brand new state-of-the-art facility with brand new equipment. And like mentioned before, tandem with career pathing for our entry-level folks that potentially fresh out of high school. What do they want out of life? And I can offer that to these people, which is super exciting and rewarding for me as an owner of part owner of this business. And it's really rewarding to then see people come in to these positions and thrive and climb ranks. Like, it's been early already. We've been in operations in our new facility since February, and already some people have started at an entry-level position and are now in a lead position already in a short few months. So it's pretty exciting.
Awesome. So you guys run apprenticeships through the Mississauga location as well, getting
Correct.
knowledge through and helping build your techs as well. That's awesome.
Yep, correct.
How many techs do you guys have in the shop at the moment? Like, you said you guys hired about 100 people, but that's going to be mixed from detailers to etc. How many bays and how many techs do you guys have, just in case there's a technician
Sure.
in the GTA area looking for a job?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have 35 hoists or bays spread across through the inspection department and through different functions. What makes us unique is obviously you can imagine hiring a lot of licensed technicians to fill all of those 30 plus bays would be very difficult, and so a lot of them are apprentices in different levels, and then a team of licensed mechanics as well that work in harmony. And so what I've done is I've taken the work into different sections. So inspection can be different variations of a licensed mechanic. Safety obviously is by a licensed mechanic, and then we have stations. So like a brake and tire station is an apprentice that does brake and tire on multiple cars through the day. Oil change station, same idea. And going back to the career pathing and that, so it's if you want to start, you can start either on inspection as an apprentice, or you can work on the oil and filter station and then progress up through the skill and difficulty levels of the different jobs.
It's nice because you guys have a very wide mixture of entry-level techs or entry-level apprentices to licensed techs that probably have a ton of experience. So they have
Correct.
The new entry-level techs have so many other people to speak with, get their experience, get their knowledge, and really even out if it's something they want to do, and they can definitely try new things, whether that be the brake side, the oil change side, and then move into that safety inspection side as well, which makes it really nice for people coming out of high school wanting to try it out. Maybe they think they want to get into it, but they come in the shop and it's something they don't want to do, right?
Yeah, I mean, kind of the other cool thing too is when school starts again, we'll do it again, but I partnered with Halton region and the Peel region for the high schools as well, and I had high school co-op students.
Nice.
Which is also really cool. One of them happened to be my son, who was a grade 12 student. And that was an interesting avenue too. At that time, I didn't really know that there was a big need for high school co-op students in placements. I sent my son out into the community. I didn't want him doing it for dad. I wanted him to experience it on his own. And so he went out to several dealerships and independent shops, and they all turned him down. At that point, I was like, okay, I'll take you. And then some of his friends and other people in the school needed the same thing. And so we got with the school. There's actually the Woodlands High School is around the corner from us in Mississauga. We had 2 of their students this last year, and it was eye-opening for them as well. And so it's exciting. People often wonder why the trades are dying, and I always say, well, then nobody wants to support them. And so Clutch, I want Clutch to be known for a lot of things, like being the place to sell your car, buy your car, but I also want it to be known as the place where you can go for a career in the automotive industry at any skill level that you have, whether you're brand new out of high school or still in high school. We can find meaningful work for you.
For sure. For even getting their feet wet, right? even if they're still in high school. You need someone to clean the shop. At the end of the day, it's not a great job, but get your feet wet, you get new experiences, you're going to speak with people that have a ton of knowledge, and at the end of the day, the knowledge is what's going to set you apart. The knowledge and your work ethic is going to set you apart from the individual that just got out of high school trying to get into the company.
Correct. Yeah, and even the high school students, like we put them on cars, like that, with overseen by a licensed mechanic, of course, but like even the high schools are like, hey, this is truly amazing. Like nobody else does that, to take a high school student and let them change brakes, let them change tires. What does that look like? And so it's pretty exciting to me because I mentioned I have a son that's in that age, and it's exciting to give them those opportunities, but it's exciting just to be part of the community and to offer the community those opportunities.
For sure. When I was in high school, I'm in a small town a couple hours north from you in Walkerton, and I kind of already had it figured out with the shop that I did it, but I did a truck and coach technician shop. Out of high school, the boss let me do pretty much everything. Anything that their techs were doing, I was doing. So I got huge experience from custom fab, welding to trucks, because we did a little bit of everything. Out of high school, I knew the knowledge and I knew how the company worked. So I jumped in and worked for that company and got the experience, got even more knowledge through that company. It was great, and that's something that I think a lot of high schoolers kind of lose their way when they're coming out of school, is they don't know what they want to do because they never got the experience to try new things. They never got the experience to take the courses they wanted to, where co-op really pulls everything together, especially when companies like yourself let them in and let them learn, let their hands on.
Yeah, that's why I felt it was important just not to give them the co-op and have them sweep the floor. That's not the true automotive experience. It is to a certain degree. That's what you'll do as any low person in any shop. But I wanted them to get the experience, right? Like, what does it look like to show up to work on time? So even like before I would take a high school co-op student, like I still put them through an interview process where they sat in front of me and I asked them, normal interview questions. And, they didn't have to ace it out of right away, but it's like want them to give a snapshot of what it looks like to be an adult outside of high school, and give them those. I was like, you have to be on time, and you have to stay until the end of your shift, and wear safety and PPE equipment as necessary. And the kids that I had last year really, really enjoyed it, and it was a lot of fun for us as well for them. That's
awesome. Coming from the U.S. side of things. What surprised you most about now working with a Canadian company after building a couple of U.S. companies and working with those U.S. companies?
So a couple of things that was shockingly different to me was like Carfax, where everybody wants to see a Carfax before they buy a car. Same thing, we offer them on our website, but all of the trims decode to U.S. trims. And so like we might be selling a Nissan Rogue Sport, or in Canada they call it a Qashqai. And so like that's weird, right? There's some weird nuances like that, different make, models, and trims. So that was very interesting, and it still isn't interesting that we see daily now. A customer questions, hey, Carfax says it's this, but you have it listed as this. It's like, yep, that's the Nissan, or the U.S. equivalent. So it's the same thing. So there's some explanation there. The other thing is automotive industry in Canada, nobody's quite done it at the scale that Clutch is doing it now. So like we are set up now with our new facility in Mississauga and all my other facilities to recondition 500 plus cars a week. That's a lot of cars. And so from parts perspective, from an employee standpoint, to vendors, like you can think of all the different people that would have touch points and vendors and people, and to recondition a car, we break pretty much everything from a volume perspective. There was literally a time when I first got here where we had a parts vendor at the time where I wanted brake rotors for a Civic, and we had bought all brake rotors for all Civic models in Canada, and there wasn't anymore, which is problematic, right? Because we Civic is the number one selling car in Canada. And so I never experienced that in the States. Like parts are plentiful. There's lots of aftermarket options. There's less of that within Canada.
For sure. Yeah, we get, at the end of the day, we get a lot of our stuff from the United States. A lot of our parts are manufactured in the United States. So that is something that it's a great point. You would have never thought about coming into Canada.
Well, and part availability was another one too, right? So like there was a time during the pandemic that Chrysler stopped shipping cars up to Canada. And so like we'd have Chrysler cars that were OEM cars that, you know, they're available, but they're on a never ending back order because they're not shipping to Canada. And so like that was a rough time for COVID for cross-border part movements and distributions.
Yeah, and even like minivans as well. My aunt's trying to get a minivan, and they're so far behind on getting vans into Canada that she has been on. She ordered it a year ago, and she's still waiting on the van. So, same thing with the deal with actually getting the vehicles themselves, not even just the parts. How do you keep your customer experience front and center as the company grows, being such a big company, looking out for your customers, keeping that retention, keeping your customer happy at the end of the day?
I think it's a culture mindset. My group is called the production group. It's the reconditioning of the cars and also oversees the fleet and logistics of all the vehicle movements. My team knows that there's a motto that we go by, that we all sell cars. I think having that front and center amongst every person in my organization is very key to delivering for the customer. So if we're not doing something that is a value add for our customer, we shouldn't be doing it. And also a very unique thing to Clutch and to myself, it's senior levels, my VP counterparts. We look at every Google review, every NPS survey once a customer is transacted with it. We look at those and we monitor trends. If we're missing the mark on something, we at a tech startup and can meaningfully make change, like right today, if there's something wrong or a miss, and make it right. And I think that's super important. Some of the big companies or dealer groups, I don't know how often that the executives are looking at each customer review and comment. I can guarantee you that I do. That's a chunk of my day every day, and reaching out to those that have an issue and we want to make it right.
For sure. You're making sure that you have that customer satisfaction. Even with those reviews, when you say get a little bit of a disappointment in a review, not the review you were looking like, you guys take that initiative, reach out and be like, hey, what could we have done better to make our services better? Yeah, for sure. Because that's one thing, speaking with companies, is a lot of companies almost are scared to do that. They don't want to know what they did wrong, but that at the end of the day, you need to know what you did wrong so you can put a Band-Aid over that and fix it for the next customer.
Yeah, I mean, everything, the Clutch online, the online model, the digital model, it's all about transparency, trust, and convenience. Those are like the flagships of what Clutch is trying to solve. And so at the end of the day, if we don't have a transparent model that people like, and they don't feel like they can trust us and that it's not convenient and easy to do, they'll just go to the traditional dealer. And we're trying to just make that easier for our customers, and so we want to know what the customers say 100%. And if we don't act on that, then that's our fault. Shame on us. But we do listen, we do reach out proactively, and we want to know and we want to be better.
For sure. And being in Canada, it's tough, right? Because you're going to get a lot of vehicles. I know scamming's a big thing on Marketplace and whatever else you look like. If you guys can prove that you guys have a good vehicle, if you guys can prove there's no bondo on the car, because we do live in Canada at the end of the day, if you guys can prove you're selling a good vehicle, keep that trust high, people are going to trust you guys. And if it's convenient, people are going to come to Clutch at the end of the day, instead of having to deal with that salesperson when they walk into a dealership, because that's one of the biggest things that turn people away are those salespeople. Yeah, it's their job, but it makes it, you put your back up against the wall when you are just kind of browsing and someone comes and bugs you. But at the end of the day, that's their job and that's what they're trying to do. But if you can make it convenient online like you guys are trying to do, and you do a great job building that trust with the customer and almost becoming friends, it moves things forward. Yeah,
you're right. Friends, I mean, Clutch has been in existence since 2016 when it started in Halifax and then migrated to Ontario. But since then, it's all been about trust and brand growth and recognition. Like, what do we do to gain the trust of the general population? What do you do? And trust is a big word that we talk about all the time. So it's in how we treat our customers. There's different partnerships. Like we're currently partnered with the NBA. So we're the Canada's NBA or NBA's used car seller, which is pretty cool to be able to put NBA logo on our company swag and on our delivery trucks and different things like that. And it helps build trust. The NBA, of course, wouldn't partner with a company that wasn't serious about what it's trying to do and change the industry.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. And supporting the Toronto Raptors, they need a little bit of support. I'm not a big basketball guy, but last win was a while ago.
Yeah, it's exciting. Absolutely.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. That's awesome. What's the biggest shift you've noticed in how Canadians are buying cars over the last few years? Have you noticed them going more towards a brand new vehicle, more towards a used car market? Are people holding on their vehicles a little bit longer? What have you noticed in that side of the Canadian market?
Yeah, kind of a little bit of both of what you said. People are holding on to their cars longer. Cars, as we all know, have gotten a lot more expensive. Like when I was a kid, it was pretty easy to buy something sub $5,000. That's nearly impossible at this point, at least for something that is reliable and that runs on a regular basis. And so, like, along with that shift, people are keeping their cars longer, but they're also buying more used cars, which is great for a company like Clutch. As you mentioned, supply problems with new cars is a real thing. My wife and I experienced that ourselves. She wanted a brand new Toyota Sienna, year or 2 years plus on a waiting list. Like, that's crazy. Yeah. Actually, plug for Clutch. One came in. We are Clutch customers. My wife bought a 2025 Toyota Sienna from Clutch with 200 kilometers on it.
That's crazy.
So, like, a unique unicorn. And so, like, people that were traditionally like, I only buy new cars, are now looking to the used car market because potentially what they want isn't available. Which is exciting for the used car market in general, but also for Clutch, as you bring the transparency and the trust and convenience into that, which is satisfying a lot of people.
For sure.
In the used car market.
Do you guys have warehouses in the States then as well? And do you guys pass vehicles from States to Canada, or just kind of different warehouses? Or how does it work if you guys, or whatever's in that certain location, that's what you offer for that location?
Yeah, so Clutch is Canadian company. There's no U.S. entity. There's nothing in the States. So no on that end. But then, so our biggest, we sell right now in Ontario, so like southern Ontario, and then in Halifax as well. Currently on clutch.ca, there's over 2,100 cars listed for sale. If you're, with the bulk of those cars being within the GTA, at some of my facilities and parking lots across either Toronto and Mississauga area. But if you were a customer in Halifax or in the Maritimes, you can still buy a car. You just have to pay for a shipping fee to bring it out to you.
Okay. I was wondering kind of how that distribution worked on your end of things.
Yeah, so that's the distribution works, which is great because in the Maritimes, there's not a lot of inventory in used cars. So for those folks, it's really great to then be able to tap on a couple $1,000 worth of a volume of cars in the Ontario market, which wouldn't be available to you previously. For
sure. Yeah, it'd be super expensive for dealerships themselves to try to find used cars from that market to really satisfy their customers. Where it works out with you guys. You guys have the vehicles. You have the location, just the process of getting it there. As for online dealerships or online car sales, do you see that evolving over the next few years? More dealerships getting involved with that rather than your brick and mortar location? Or is that something that you don't think it's going to come for a while yet?
You mean like used car dealers like adopting like the Clutch online model? Is that?
Yeah. So say you have a brick and mortar location, shutting down your brick and mortar and just running all online base.
Yeah, I mean that's the used car market in Canada, or like you have to be able to do it well. I think that's one of our big moats between us and the other dealers. Like they can, it just takes a lot of infrastructure. All of our, like for instance, like the sales is like a call center. It's a floor of people on the phone rather than sitting on a dealership waiting for people to come in. It's more of a proactive approach and servicing all the customers that reach out to us either online or through the phone. They can figure it out. There's nothing proprietary rocket science about buying a car online. It's just a completely different way of thinking and a different way of doing it. And slowly, like some of the bigger groups are adopting that model because it's what the customers want, honestly. I think the days of, I can remember when I was a kid going with my parents to go buy a car, it was an all-day experience. Like you'd have to negotiate and haggle and, back and forth and go, I got to talk to my manager and bring the deal and slide in the paper back and forth on the table. Like those days are gone. Even traditional dealers and OEM dealers are going to a haggle-free environment, which I think is good for customers in general. And now imagine having that same experience on your couch and just having the car show up takes it to the next level.
Yeah, for sure. Back to Amazon, right? No one ever thought it was going to be a thing, but because it's convenient and they ironed out the bugs, it turned into something worldwide, right? As a digital-first retailer, how are you guys leveraging that technology, data, or even AI, the word of 2025, AI, to improve that car buying experience for your customer?
Yeah, AI plays a lot into what we do. I think it plays a big role in how we acquire cars. It's all proprietary information, but on service level, it's market-based pricing. So using Civics, as we've talked about before, it's Canada's #1 car. So if let's just, for instance, we have a baseline of we want to keep 100 Civics in inventory, we'll pay less for the 101th car, 101st, and second and third, so forth. But if we only have 50 on our website and we want a baseline of 100, then we'll pay more for those Civics to stock up to where we need to be. And so just using AI, you can imagine costs different even amongst Civic trims, all makes, models, trucks that are out there on our website. So AI model and generating for real-time pricing. And then so if you ever wanted to, you could take a VIN of your car, get a price for your car today. It's good for 7 days, and then that model will then spit out a different price in 7 days, or it maintains the same. So it has a lot of different AI checkpoints through live data, wholesale auctions, other cars on the marketplace outside of Clutch. There's a lot of, as you can imagine, touch points and data points that AI can grab and put that towards.
For sure, that's cool. Do you mind taking us through that process if someone wanted to sell or trade in their vehicle to Clutch? You said they type in their VIN, they get a price, 7-day price. Is that included photos so you guys can see, make sure there's no holes in the body, obviously? Or is that just kind of a baseline and then bring it in for inspection sort of thing?
Yeah, a little bit of both. So the process is if I'm going to sell a car, you can either do it with your VIN or a license plate number. You put that in. It will make you confirm like this is your make, model of the car. You confirm that, and then it takes you through like a page where you can select overall condition, and it has some prompts like, is there any body damage? Is the windshield cracked? When was the last time you replaced your tires? Or any check engine lights on? It'll take you through a series of questions to like dial in the condition of the car. At this point, we don't ask for a lot of photos, but we do have a caveat that if as long as you've disclosed the mileage and the condition of the car accurately, the online offer that we give you is the actual offer. The only thing that changes the offer is if someone was untruthful. You show up, and we've had it happen, unfortunately, where we show up and the car's missing a bumper, or the windshield smashed, or was just in an accident. Like obviously, we're going to pay less for that car, and then we'll make a deduction on the sale of that car. But as long as everything is accurately filled out, the offer that you get kicked out by the online is the offer that you get.
That's awesome. That's super cool. Is that something that you guys would have built internally then? That model,
correct,
the
internally.
Price model, and cool. That's amazing. Yeah. What other industry trends have you been seeing within the used car sales, dealership side, online dealership side of things?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not into the sales as much as I probably should be. More of an operations based. Some of the things is like reconditioning cars. One of the things that we're always playing with there is like what's acceptable to a customer from damages and what is overkill as far as processing. Because if you can imagine, if we painted every panel on a car that had a dent, potentially the whole car would need painted, and that would also be very expensive. Then we'd have to pass that cost on. And so what I'm always doing in the operations-based business is like, what do we do to like provide our customers with a great quality car that, you know, it is free of major defects that the general population would be happy with. And so we talked earlier about like monitoring customer feedback, and that's one of the main reasons why I do that, because I want to know, did we sell a car that the dent was possibly too big or the scratch was too big? You know, it's within our clutch guidelines, but if too many people are giving me that consistent feedback, then I need to take it back and look at reducing the size of that damage, using that as an example. But any category of like damages, scratches, cosmetic damage is, as you can imagine, pretty subjective by the person, and so that's where it becomes difficult. Internally, we've built clutch standards, so everything like has yes or a no, pass, fail from an internal quality perspective. But the key is making sure that internal standard meets the customer expectations on a consistent basis.
For sure. Yeah, you want to sell them something that they're happy with at the end of the day, something that
absolutely.
They want to see themselves in, because your car is how you get back and forth from work if you don't have a car, unless you take the train or the bus. But at the end of the day, your vehicle gets you back and forth from work, and it's something that is a necessity if you work outside of town or work a distance from home.
Yeah, it's a necessity, and it's also for most people outside of like a home purchase, it's the second biggest purchase anybody would ever make in their lifetime. And you know, not only do we want to make that experience a good experience and not be a pain, but we want you to enjoy the car that you buy from us.
Yeah, for sure. No, that's amazing. What are some of the most important lessons you've learned from now 3 different startups, really testing your knowledge, testing your experience? What are some of those biggest key moments, key lessons that you've learned through your journey?
Yeah, there's been a few of them. I mentioned people earlier. A lot of it is to keep an open mind on people. Obviously, there's some no-goes as far as like criminal behavior and that kind of thing. Obviously, is not accepted. But just because someone doesn't have a specific skill that I'm hiring for doesn't mean that I shouldn't give them a chance. There's been several people throughout my career that have gone above and beyond. You know, I can think of several different examples. From, you know, people just wanting a job, came from a rough neighborhood, rough environment, no work experience, even being, you know, almost 20 years old, and just needing direction in life, and having a workforce that can provide that direction of life and provide that person not only income to survive, but actually thrive and have a meaningful career. Is really what gets me up at the end of the day, because I get, you know, a lot of things going on to run a business, but at the end of the day, it's the people that get me excited. And as we built, my partner Alfie and I that built this place, it was all done with people focus, or you know, soon to be employees that we hadn't met yet, but making sure that, you know, we subsidize lunch for these guys. We have a micro kitchen up here. Climate controlled shop for both summer and winter is a big deal. Nice uniform and swag. You know, really want everybody to like love to come to work as much as I do. Like I wake up every day before my alarm clock goes off, excited to go. Like I'm here at the office, you know, often between 5:30 and 6 in the morning. I'm always the first one here, and then I greet people as they come in. It's my favorite thing to do every day.
That's awesome. Yeah, and that AC shop, that dual climate shop is huge, because I remember working as a truck and coach tech, and you just have every door open trying to get as much wind through as the shop as you could, but it still didn't keep you cool enough. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No, that's amazing. You guys truly look after your employees, and that's the biggest thing, right? If you guys can, especially with such a big team, if you guys can look after your employees, train them, teach them, and just show up for them and help guide them through their journey, through their experience, through their knowledge, it's going to they're going to stick around and they're going to give it back to the company as well.
Yeah, and then even better, so then referrals, right? So treat the first wave of people good, and then pretty soon I'm interviewing their previous coworkers or friends or whatever that looks like, and it really just does build a sense of community amongst the team at my facilities, which is it's pretty good. People will come and visit, take a tour, and very often I hear unsolicited from guests, it's like people are just happy to be here. I'm like, yep, good. That's exactly the point, and that's what we wanted. So,
yeah, no. At the end of the day, your employees are what keep the business moving, right? And if you can keep them happy, that at the end is the most important thing.
Absolutely.
So you guys kind of just got this new building going in February. That's super exciting. What are the next 6 to 12 months look for? What are some of those priorities? What are some of those goals? Where do you want to see Clutch in the next 6 to 12?
Yeah, 6 to 12 months. We're in brainstorm session now. We just need to keep up with the demand and the volume that our customers are giving us. And so what do? Facility and real estate is probably going to hold us back. So we're looking. It's hard to say, but we're looking for another facility in Ontario at this point. Mm-hmm. So we're looking at real estate. Where is that? Where what's it going to look like? Is to be TBD still, but that's something we're actually working on. Current capacity, like I said earlier, of 500 plus cars a week produced for our customers, and we're at that level now. And the demand is there for more than that. So in order to keep up with the demand, it's more facilities like the one in Mississauga. And so my team is really working hard right now to make the Mississauga facility replicatable. And so we're like processes, procedures, tooling, the employee experience, onboarding, training, and what that looks like. And so then when we find a facility, we can just stamp it out in another area, and then we'll continue to do that as long as the demand is there. So that's pretty exciting.
That's awesome. No, that's super exciting. Rolling things forward, moving around. Ontario is huge, so there's lots of places to put another warehouse and get some vehicles sold.
Absolutely, yeah.
What are some of those challenges that are truly holding you guys back from reaching the true potential that you guys see in Clutch? Obviously, expanding, getting to that new location, but what are some of those challenges holding you back from achieving those goals?
Yeah, so one of them is obviously real estate. The second one comes behind it is the people. So I already mentioned that I have a lot of people working for me here, but somewhere in it, to open up another facility within the GTA that's also going to require 100 plus people, that's a lot of people. And so I'm also then thinking, so I have a learning and development team so we can train folks that may not have the skills internally. And so I'm looking at potentially opening and figuring out what it is to make that a robust thing where we can train more people on different skills, whether it's technician, being an automotive technician, an apprentice, an auto detailer. In the future, I want to play around with what would it look like for Clutch to get into the body shop business and start doing that internally rather than using vendors. So there's a lot of cool things that I want to play with, but it all comes down to, we keep talking about, which is absolutely true, it's people. And I think real estate, number one, and people, number two, is going to limit us. And so the more we can invest in both of those things, the better Clutch will be off for expansion and growing in current markets and beyond current open markets.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. I love the big initiatives. I love the big goals that you guys have visioned for Clutch, and everything's kind of moving forward, right? You guys just got a new location in February. Yep. You guys are already looking for that next one to roll things out. It's super exciting. Love the vision behind it. If people wanted to learn more about Clutch, maybe speak to you, maybe they're looking for a job, or maybe they're looking for a vehicle, where can they find you guys?
Yeah, absolutely. The best place to go is just to our website, clutch.ca. There you can, as we talked about, you could do the flow to get an offer for your car, or there's also the flow to look at and figure out the next car for you. There's also, if you scroll all the way down to the bottom of the page, I was just there this morning, is a career section, so you can check out all the jobs that we have. I'm also hiring for a lot of like manager and senior manager level jobs at the moment, as we're growing and our infrastructure, as mentioned earlier. Happy to talk to anybody that thinks that they have the skills and qualifications for any jobs. You can reach out to me. My email is easy. It's just my ryan.crooks@clutch.ca. You're welcome to send me an email there. I'm also on LinkedIn. I get a lot of LinkedIn messages from people and respond to all of them in time. If it takes me a little bit of time, bear with me. But yeah, happy to, anybody has any questions or wants a job, happy to talk to anybody.
Awesome. Well, thanks for taking the time today, Ryan. Appreciate you speaking about Clutch, helping get some knowledge out there about what you guys do a little bit more in depth, and just also expand on the experience that you've brought into Canada from the American startups, and giving us a bunch of your opinions and where you think the industry is going to be. And it was great talking to you. And if I'm ever in the area, I'm going to stop by, say how's it going, if I go Mississauga way to the warehouse at all.
Let me know. I'd love to take you on a tour. Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
That'd be awesome. Thanks, Ryan.
Thanks. See you.